Cool. So let's talk now about your. So in general, this part we're going to talk about some practical tips from your side, how the person can become self-disciplined. But guys, I guess you're going to talk here a little bit about your program and stuff you do, and so the way you want to approach it actually. What's your opinion? How someone can, with several simple steps, become
Uh,
and start becoming more?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the steps are simple, but they're not easy, right? Because you are shifting,
Yeah.
you're shifting from what you know. But there are definitely some tactical pieces around self-discipline and habit formation, and there's a huge mindset component. That is very
Yep.
individual. That is the customized coaching piece. But the tactics are, if you know anything about habit formation and self-discipline, it's there's a couple of pieces from the beginning that one, be very, very clear on your current pattern. What is it? What are you trying to do? Where do you typically fail? What is the pattern? What is the context? What are you doing? What are you feeling when you want to take action, but you don't? And so be very clear on that and understand exactly what's happening. See if you can shift some of the pieces that are causing the inaction. But always start small. When we first set a goal, and this is why New Year's resolutions fail so often, we get so excited. We're like, new chapter, I'm all in, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week for 45 minutes. You feel that motivation, and then life gets in the way. And within 6 weeks, you've completely given up on the goal. The recommendation around self-discipline is to start small. Pick the amount of action that you can do every day, no matter what gets in the way. So create the desired action based on your worst day, not on your best day, so that you can take that consistently enough to create the routine and the identity of someone who does this action. So if you want to write a book, start by writing half a page, 1 minute, whatever it is that feels like a no-brainer. Like, no matter what happens in my day, I will be able to write for this longer. I will be able to do a 5-minute walk around the block, no matter what. So what happens is that when my clients first hear this tactic, they get disappointed. They're like, well, this is silly. This is so small. It's insignificant. It won't get me to my goal. And yes, the answer is yes, this alone won't, but it will create the routine and the identity. And then once you have the habit, you can improve it. You can scale on it. But you can't have consistency around a behavior that feels overwhelming and too much. And most of the time, you won't be able to keep up. So start small, be patient, focus on taking the action, not on the outcome from the action, because initially you won't see the outcome. You will just be building that identity and that consistency. And the other good tip that comes along with this is, if you miss for any reason, let's just say your goal is to write every day and one day you don't write for 1 minute, if you have to, reduce the scope, but keep to the schedule. If you're thinking, well, I can't do the 1 minute of writing, write one sentence. Keep showing yourself that you can show up for yourself, that you are someone who writes consistently, even if it's a lot smaller than what you intended. It's not all or nothing. Like, I can either keep to what my intended plan was, or I drop it all together. If you can't do the whole thing, even if it's very small, do half of it. Do one push-up, do one squat. So keep to the schedule, but reduce the scope. And thirdly, very importantly, is never miss twice. If your goal is to do something daily and for some reason you miss it once, don't panic. Don't throw your hands up in the air and give up on the goal. Like, okay, I'll get back on track as soon as I can, because those misses won't matter at the end of the year. They will be insignificant. But if you get back on track, you have a lot more follow through than not. And those efforts will compound on each other to create the result you want. And one thing that happens very often with folks who miss is that in their mind, then they have to compensate. They have to make up for the miss. And then the next day they think they have to show up twice as long or twice as much. And that's what keeps you from showing up. That's what creates the resistance of getting back on track. So drop that expectation to make up. Show up with exactly the least amount of action you had planned on. The goal is to get back on track, to break the pattern of missing, not to actually do the activity for as many times as you had planned, right? Because this is not, initially, self-discipline is not about results, not about quick gains. It's about creating a habitual routine that's automated, that becomes a no-brainer. Then you become that person who does the thing, and then you build on it. So those are some of the basic, framework steps around habit formation and self-discipline. And then there's the mindset piece, which is pretty individual.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was going around my mind when you were talking about, I totally agree with you actually. I love the idea of you could say mini habits, atomic habits, whatever you say, is these small habits you are creating for a certain amount of time, when when you create a routine. I love the two things you said. you create a routine and identity.
Mm-hmm.
And this identity piece is something people sometimes can't understand, that is incredibly important to have the identity about that. I'm someone who is walking, I'm someone who is writing. I am, right? I am that person already.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this with one of my clients. She is writing so many things, and people like that in social media everywhere. And I said, "You are already an author." And she
Mm-hmm.
was like, "No, I'm not. I don't have a published book." What? If what? You don't have that? You're already an author. You're writing that all the time. People like it. People comment on that. People are interested in that. You're inspiring people with that. If it's in a book or not doesn't make sense for me in my head. You are, and it was a great shift for her, because then she started considering herself as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's so key. You're absolutely right. The identity of someone who does the thing, it becomes harder for you not to do the thing. So if you're someone who runs, you have to get it out of your body. It's so hard for you not to have the habit. So that's when the work becomes easy. You're not really trying because you want
Yeah,
to be consistent with your identity.
I was this one of the things which for me was very hard in my life and in my younger years, but I was kind of this nice guy identity. I had this in me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I developed a lot of skills afterwards and changed that in a great way. But the thing here is that I continued doing the things, even though I couldn't understand that this is not my identity. I didn't know that's identity. That's what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing it, and I said, why continue doing that? Because inside of me, I had these hidden contracts, like I need to be great to people, I need to be good to people, I need to love people, I need to do that, I need to do that, I need to really take care of people. People are more important. I am a person who is prioritizing people's needs than mine. So I just wanted to share, especially also for people who are like that now, and they see that, and they are considering why is that happening for me, is for that reason, because you still have this identity. And it's a great piece for you, Monica. And I want people really to emphasize on that, because this is the being piece, which me and you, we as coaches, help a lot of people. And I consider that is way more important. Not that the other one is not important,
yeah,
but this one is way more important than the other one, because it creates someone who you are.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The work ties in together, all the pieces coming together. And I think that's why self-discipline is freedom, right? Because you are that person and you do the thing without any effort.
Absolutely. So great. I really loved everything we've spoken here with you, and your presence and your confidence, your discipline, just your being, Monica, I really thank you for that. Thank you for being part of this conversation, sharing your golden nuggets when it comes to discipline, life, and prosperity, because that's what we're talking about today. And before we give the last message to people, can you let us know if someone wants to contact you, where is the best place to do that?
Yeah, of course. Well, thanks for having me. I love the topic. So I'm always happy to chat about self-discipline. I am fairly active on social media, on LinkedIn with Monica Levi, Levi. On Instagram as the Self-Discipline Coach, and my website is monicalevicoaching.com. I have a bunch of freebies on my Instagram bio. So there's 6 or 7 freebies that are pretty, I think, substantive, and they can help you get started with some of the skills you're trying to build. So check it out there, grab your freebie, stay in touch in all the ways that you're active on any of the platforms.
Great. Cool. So what is your last message towards people?
My last message is self-discipline is amazing. It's 100% worth it. Anyone can learn it, no matter what stage, how old, how young you are. It is the bridge between your goals and your results. So do it.
Thank you, Monica, and
thanks for having me.
Really, thank you for having me here, and really grateful.
Likewise.